How about the fact that he reconned it?
I was just gonna bring
He had
that
a
up.
drone recon it. He built 3 IEDs with a remote control.
Yeah, that bothers me. But his recon was at 3:45 that afternoon. If you're going to recon something properly, you would anticipate they would see you there at 3:45. You would think that the venue is probably locked down. My venues were locked down the night before. We ran dogs through and we locked it down the night before. And so you would have thought that he would have reconned it earlier.
He did, Bobby. Actually, if you look at that graphic that was just up at 11 a.m., he went to the site. He drove in the area and then he went back home. Then he told his parents he was going to the range around 1:30 p.m. 3:45, he went back to the scene. That was the second time in the same day. He had purchased the ammo earlier in the morning. Then he had gone back the second time. He flew the drone, but he only flew it for a few minutes, it looks like. Because at 4 p.m., he was seen driving in the area. And at 5 p.m., that's when he was identified as the suspicious person. And 5:30, that's when they find him using the rangefinder. I mean, with all of those things, I think the people were in place that noticed him. They just didn't follow up on it, Right. And I think you're making a great point, though, Bobby. He should have never been able to infiltrate the area as many times as he did. I mean, the minute he's flying a drone at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the president's going on the stage at 6, something right there, that should have been alarm bells. And plus all the other things that he did,
Right. So I think that venue should have been locked down way before that.
Absolutely. And he should have never been allowed to go on the stage until they found him, detained him, made sure everything was good. And we've all done these things where a situation erupts, something wasn't covered. Let's hold off. Let's keep the principal at bay for a few minutes until we had a suspicious car in front of a hotel one time when we had a high level dignitary coming out of New York Palace Hotel. We waited until that car was out of the area. 100%. We cleared the block. Then we allowed him to, and it was only, he was coming out of the hotel and getting in the car. It was about a 15, 20 yard dash from the front door to the car. But we were a little concerned. The car looked like it was out of place. We went over, got the car out of there, and then we continued on with our plan. So they dropped the ball in a lot of areas. And that's really the bottom line.
His close-in team, those guys have been with him since 2015 when he became a candidate. They've been with him almost 10 years. He loves them. They love him. And they would have turned to him and said, "Boss, we're gonna hold off for 15 minutes, 20 minutes." He would have been fine with that. He would have,
and they've done that before, Bobby. The president talked about that. They've done that numerous times.
Absolutely. If they were told that there was a suspicious guy, they would have said, "Hey, boss, let's hold off for a few minutes," and then they would have had somebody go out there and brace this guy. I'm on a text string with a couple of retired agents and different people from different agencies, and it's not an excuse. It's not, and I don't give them any quarter here, but you had the first lady, I think, was in Pittsburgh that day. You had, I think, no, the first lady was in Philadelphia. The vice president was in Pittsburgh, all in the same state, right? So somebody was theorizing, this wasn't my theory, but somebody was theorizing that, they were strapped for manpower. Sure. This was a Trump rally in a very rural area. Those Trump rallies tend to be love fests. All his base, turns out, they just adore Trump. And maybe they thought this wasn't going to be like a very high targeted event. And so they pawned it off on some new guy to do the operational plan because he needed the experience in drawing up an ops plan. We all start somewhere. I'm not sure I buy into that, but there was clearly a lack of resources. Now we're hearing some secret, we heard initially that they said, no, we never denied resources. Now we're hearing, they did deny resources. It was a manpower and a funding issue. And now we're hearing they wouldn't deploy Secret Service counter sniper teams outside of driving distance from DC. I don't know what that's about. So, there's going to be rallies all over this country in the next couple of months. I mean, we're in the home stretch of a very contentious presidential race. Secret Service better get this thing figured out.
But Bobby, isn't it your experience though? I mean, you did operations from the planning stage. I mean, the Secret Service, they're calling for security location. They get the local law enforcement. They make sure it's done. You got to have people on this roof. You got to have people on this building. And it just seems like that wasn't done. That part of it, I think, is really where they lacked.
Yeah. Whenever I worked with the Secret Service, the last time I remember was Reagan's funeral here in California. They're notoriously don't play well with others. And what I mean by that is they're nice people and they're very good at what they do normally. But when what they say goes, I mean, even when they were on scene and they had a protectee, because their protectees are the highest level, we stood down or we took direction from them, which is unusual for us, but we took direction from them whenever they were on scene, and it was their call, and we just did what they asked us to do. Everybody, and that was us, the LAPD, LA sheriffs, everybody did that. Whenever Secret Service was on scene, they were in charge, and everybody listened to them. And if they told us we need 6 guys up on that roof, and can the FBI handle that, we would find those 6 guys and put them on that roof. It's just the way it was.